are making a lot of noise at AT&T Stadium.
Anything that moves between these lines, got to get dealt with.
They hand it to Pollard. He comes running out the right side. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5 to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
33-13, the Dallas Cowboys take care of business in Week 14 of the NFL season and even the playing field of the NFC East standings with 4 games to play, taking down the Philadelphia Eagles at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. A chance now for the Cowboys to work their way back into the divisional hunt and set themselves up for success come playoff time in just a little over a month. Welcome into Cowboys Game Night here from the Star in Frisco alongside the 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champ, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Youmans. Nate, this was an all-around win for the Cowboys. Defense forces 3 turnovers. Dallas offensively scored on every possession in the first half. And then, of course, Brandon Aubrey was unstoppable special teams-wise for this Cowboys team. All 3 phases working in the right direction. Back to that complimentary football Mike McCarthy preaches about.
And definitely, and I just want to say this right quick. Like, I didn't know that coming out of training camp that Brandon Aubrey would be this type of guy, a 59-yarder, a 60-yarder, and then he came back with another long one. I'm like, this kid can't miss. He's gold, and I hope this thing continues because we're going to need him down the stretch. But our defense played well with 3 turnovers, and I'm excited about that because number 11, Parsons, led this thing with a nice sack early in the game.
Yeah, let's see how this one unfolded because it was a complete effort for the Cowboys. Back at home at AT&T Stadium, wearing the all-white uniforms, looking for win number 15 in a row at home. The opening drive couldn't have been better for the Dallas Cowboys. Perfectly to plan, 10 plays, 75 yards, 5 minutes, and it took Dak finding C.D. Lamb for 6. Now 5 straight games with a receiving touchdown for Lamb.
Vintage Dak, moving around, giving his C.D. Lamb a chance to find an open hole.
Yeah, first drive for Philly, not according to plan for Jalen Hurts and company. He scrambles, gets hit by Donovan Wilson, and the ball comes loose. 5th of the year fumble for Jalen Hurts.
Hey, we needed that play from Donovan Wilson right there, him and Clark. Great play, man. That's his 5th turnover there for Hurts?
It's 15th turnover, 5th fumble. So he's been turning it over quite a bit. And just a reminder, that's not the only one so far. Here's the first for Brandon Aubrey. He hit it from 60 yards to put the Cowboys up 10-0. Philly would answer with a field goal of their own. But back on offense, Dallas continued rolling. Dak Prescott finds Ferguson over the middle. Jake Ferguson for a huge game helps Dallas get into Eagles territory. And just a couple plays later, they work it down to the goal line. The give to Rico Dowdle, initially called short, but upon further review, he reached for the goal line and he broke the goal line for 6. Touchdown Rico Dowdle. Dallas goes up 17-3. Philly needing a score in the second. They were in Dallas territory, but they had to settle for 3 because Micah Parsons collapses the pocket. His 12th sack of the season forces a Philly field goal attempt. Jake Elliott does convert, and Dallas led 17-6, but they weren't done in the first half. Dak Prescott rolling back, throws it over the middle of the right hash mark to Brandon Cooks, gets tackled at the 1-yard line. 2 plays later, though, it's Dak Prescott to Michael Gallup to make it 24-6 at the halftime break. What a first half from the Cowboys. Philly would make it a game in the third quarter, though. Dak Prescott rolls right, makes a mistake as he's sacked by Fletcher Cox. Ball pops out. Jordan Davis scoops it and scores it to get Philly back within 2 scores.
Yes, right there. Dak was trying to climb the pocket right there. He didn't secure the football, and Big Davis picked it up right there.
Dallas would push their lead, though, back to 14 even after that. Working down the field, they go back to B.A. 59 yards. He's now the first player in NFL history to hit 2 field goals of over 59 yards in a single game. Next Philly drive down by 14. The Eagles would go for it on 4th down, and instead of finding Devontae Smith in the first down marker, they find Stephon Gilmore instead. It forces a turnover on down, leads to Aubrey's 3rd field goal of the game, pushing the lead to 3 scores and putting pressure on the Eagles to the point where driving with desperation, Hurts finds Devontae Smith for the first down, but then the ball's popped out by Marquise Bell.
Florida grad They're doing their thing, them Rattlers, baby. Way to go. Yes, sir.
FAMU, right?
That's right. Bell,
Always
big play.
representing. That was a nice nail in the coffin for the Dallas defense. Their third takeaway. It would lead to one more Brandon Aubrey field goal, his fourth of the night, and the Cowboys win this one, evening things up in the NFC East. Both teams now 10-3, but the Cowboys currently hold the tiebreaker over the Eagles, though the Eagles do control their destiny for the final 4 weeks of the regular season. If the Eagles win out, those tiebreakers would shift back in play for the Philadelphia Eagles. But right now, the first place Dallas Cowboys atop the NFC East. And we're going to talk to first place head coach Mike McCarthy when we come back with more Cowboys game night right after this.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Make every day game day with Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery. Play today for your chance to win big.
What a night for the Dallas Cowboys, 33-13 the final score as they take down the Philadelphia Eagles. And it also marks the third straight season for double-digit wins for Mike McCarthy. 3 of his 4 seasons have had at least 10 wins, and here he is following the victory at the podium.
I mean, it's definitely an important victory. I mean, you know, these division games are so difficult, always have been, regardless of the year. But you know, we understand once you get to double digits, 10 wins, 11 wins really give you a clear picture of what you need to get done. But you know, they've been playing great ball all year. So you know, we felt like we had the opportunity up in Philadelphia, so we needed to get this game, and more importantly, I just want to see us take a step as a football team, you know, because it's about winning, always be about winning. But you got to improve. You have to improve down the stretch here. You want to be playing your best football in December, and I think we got off to a great start tonight.
Extra satisfaction based on what you went through this week and being coaching out here. And then, did you have any issues coaching tonight?
No issues. Really, I just wanted to do my part. You know, I just wanted to make sure that I was prepared as I normally am. So, you know, and I did. I was a little nervous about it today. So, because you know what, it's a long year. We're all creatures of habit. You know, you go through these normal 7-day weeks, and you know when you miss time, you know it was. But I was able to make it up, and frankly, I think the best part about it was I was able to get more sleep probably than I normally do. So, but the players did a great job, the coaches did a great job, and you know we didn't miss a beat, and I think we demonstrated that tonight.
Mike Todd Archer of the ESPN, the defensive performance tonight with the takeaways,
Yes.
fourth down stop. What were they able to do to take Philadelphia away?
Well, I mean, it's points. You know, they do a nice job of, you know, playing to the sticks. You know, Jalen's such a threat, and you know, and obviously with the offensive line in the way you have to defend them. So, in the win the down and distance battle is a challenge, and you know, obviously the takeaways is something we take a lot of pride in, and. The fourth down stop was probably the biggest one, you know, of the game, but especially momentum-wise, because you can feel it on the field that, you know, that was a huge momentum swing in the game. So, but yeah, I thought our defense was lights out tonight. You know, I think it's like anything, and you know, you clean up your last game, you're able to learn from it. But you could feel it when they came back from the Thursday night game in Seattle. I mean, you could feel it in the coaches on Monday, and then obviously carried through this week. So, I mean, there was no surprise they were going to play well tonight.
You guys have had
Huge credit for Mike McCarthy and what this team has done this season. You could also say huge credit for him as a play caller on the offensive side of the ball. 394 yards, most of that in the first half. Dak Prescott was tremendous in the first half, did have that late turnover that resulted in a defensive touchdown. But the way this offense played early on, it was reminiscent of what we've seen over the last 5 weeks. Didn't necessarily have a great second half, but what did you think about the way they played on that side?
They ran 4.3 yard average, 138 yards on probably about 34 carries, somewhere around that. I like how Tony Pollard played, Rico Dowdle, Jake Ferguson. I like CeeDee Lamb. The list goes on, and we got Cooks involved. That is a great thing. I like when the big name players, our guys that we're dependent on, make plays the way they did. When we had adversity, we gave up a sack, we come back and we make play. We gave up a touchdown offensively, we came back and we made plays. And that's the adversity that I talk about going through that keeps you building and keep you going in the right direction.
How did you feel like the offensive line played today? Good.
It is getting better, and it's just not the offensive line. I like the way Dak is moving around. I like the way Tony Pollard is picking up the leaky players that are breaking free soon. I like that.
Yeah, they've continued to improve, and last time they gave up a number of sacks against Philadelphia. Today, just 3 sacks. We'll see what the pressure numbers look like later on, but Dallas put plenty of pressure on Jalen Hurts themselves. When we come back, we talk to Micah Parsons. The Lion was hungry for a win against Philadelphia. What did he have to say following the 33-13 win?
Was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Make every day game day with Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery. Play today for your chance to win big.
Welcome back into Cowboys game night. Toward the end of the Sunday Night Football broadcast on NBC, they showed a shot of the turnover basket that sits in the team meeting room here at the Star in Frisco. They may need some extra room in that basket, maybe a bigger one after 3 turnovers forced by that defense today. One of those wasn't necessarily a turnover, but it was a big sack from Micah Parsons that ended a Philly drive. Here's what Micah had to say following the win.
The best I can do. The best I can do.
What was the battle like for you?
Man, last night I woke up with 102-3 fever. Just like, I took as many drugs and IVs as a man possibly could take to be able to play today, and just need to just go home and rest.
So what you're saying is just we should all keep our distance?
For sure.
Michael, what was the significance to this in your mind? You guys got 3 takeaways, then give up a touchdown, beat a team that's 10-2.
Yeah, I think everybody's been waiting for that statement win. We've been talking about statements, and you got this high-power offense that came in our stadium and how good we've been at home. We wanted to put a statement at home, especially how that game went last time. It could have went either way, 50-50. We forced 3 turnovers last time, but it just fell their way, so it's good for them to finally fall our way. Yeah, for sure. Me and Lane been battling a lot over the years, and last time we played him, I didn't get to go over him as much as I wanted to. And after I saw him and Bosa's film, I just felt like I had to go against him just because, as a rusher, I wanted the best. And he gave me a good competition, but I think today's one of them days where I just win.
Micah Parsons talked about how he battled through illness to be available for this game. He was still effective. So was the defense as a whole with those 3 fumbles forced, and they recovered all 3 of them. In the Week 9 loss against Philadelphia, you think about certain plays that did not go in favor of this Dallas Cowboys team. Balls didn't bounce their way. Tonight it bounced their way, and they took full advantage of it when it did.
We look at Gilmore. We'll look at Gilmore, but when we look at this kid here, man, he came through adversity, man, and this is what I will continue to talk about. Going through adversity, making plays, continue to apply the pressure, doing what your coach asks you to do. He stayed in his lane. A lot of times you'll see Mike jump the inside guy, but he stayed in his lane. He got against Lane Johnson a lot of this game. He didn't move around as much as he normally do, and he was effective. And these guys took advantage of the bounce balls this time. They did not get away. They took advantage, and they made plays, and they gave their offense short fields.
It was a phenomenal game from the defense. You saw that in the first half. They only allowed 6 points total off of 2 field goals, but that was all for the Philadelphia offense. Special teams-wise for the Cowboys, scored more than Philadelphia's offense did. They had 4 field goals. When we come back, we talk to the unbreakable Brandon Aubrey when we come back with more Cowboys Game Night. It's hard to be more impressed by a singular rookie on this Cowboys roster than Brandon Aubrey. Signed off the streets right in the middle of training camp, and since then he has not missed a field goal. He connects from 59 and 60-yarders. It's only right we get to hear from the man of the night, Brandon Aubrey, after the win.
Superstitions?
Nothing that I can think of. No. Nothing crazy.
What did Bones or Mike say to you after that 60-yard
run? I don't think they said much of anything. I just had to go out there and hit the kickoff. So.
The Wednesday, taking 4 kicks off your belt, didn't throw anything off?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Are you comfortable if they decide to take more and more, maybe do no kicks on Wednesday?
I think we'll stick with kicking on Wednesday, just keep myself in the rhythm.
Okay.
Or the fact that you're just nailing all the touchdowns, maybe underappreciated by fans and media, especially when these long.
Yeah, those are tough to do day in and day out, tough on the body. So just got to keep myself healthy, keep recovery, make that a priority. And it's something in a dome I should be able to do. And they give me the ability, or they give me the freedom to go and just smash it as hard as I can, which is nice.
Is your recovery different today than it was early in the season, or what's your routine, I guess, maybe?
Just getting a little bit of body work and filling up on fluids and getting enough calories, that sort of stuff.
Brandon, both of your kicks were quite a bit. What do you consider your range?
That's tough to say. Don't think it would ever get called, but probably somewhere around 67, 68 would be comfortable. Yeah, would be.
What's the longest you made in practice?
Just around there.
Nice not having that Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that like?
What's that?
What was that win like on Thursday?
Oh, it was unbearable, kind of not really a point to kick in conditions like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Nate Newton, that is the confidence level of a gentleman who's hit 30 straight field goals, including 8 of 8 from downtown. He says he'd be comfortable 67, 68, no big deal.
This kid is special right now. His confidence is beaming, and I'm glad it's beaming. I hope you take it right into the playoffs.
And he was very nonchalant about hitting those field goals. Said after it was done, Mike McCarthy didn't say a whole lot to him. Nobody wants to try and upend the juju of Brandon Aubrey, but we've got to talk about it because he's been fantastic. 30 straight to begin his NFL career, just continuing to elongate what is already an NFL record. When we come back on Cowboys Game Night, we take a look ahead to the final month of the regular season and how the Cowboys can win the NFC East thanks to this win.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
33-13, the 8th game of the 2023 season where the Cowboys have won by 20 points or more. This one evens things up in the NFC East. Both teams now even at 10-3. The Cowboys, if the season ended today, would be the number 2 seed in the NFC. However, those tiebreakers, if Philly runs the table and wins their final 4 games, would be enough to overtake the Cowboys again. Wrapping things up here with Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans. Nate, how do the Cowboys continue what they've been doing and win in this final month of the regular season?
Just keep being who you are, preparing, paying attention to the small things like you've done, overcoming adversity. It is big in December. If you can come out of December 3-1, at least even, you're okay, and you will play a great brand of football in the playoffs. I think you can go past the first round.
How much do these 2 wins, Seattle last week and now Philly, build that confidence going up against Buffalo, Miami, and then Detroit these next 3 weeks?
What it does is just lets you know that you can go on the road or you can do it at home, and you can be a good team as long as you keep the penalties down. We got to stop with the holding calls. We got to get rid of those offensively.
Yeah, it's a completely different mindset this time around for the Cowboys because there's no margin for error. They cannot mess things up in this final month because they have the advantage now. They may need a little bit of help down the road as well. They cannot allow for any window of opportunity for Philly. For Nate Newton and our entire Dallas Cowboys crew, that does it for us for Cowboys Game Night. Cowboys win it over the Eagles 33-13.